All
Oh,
right.
Evan, could you please give me the link
Link to what?
to the show?
Oh, hold on a sec. We are live, by the way. But welcome everybody to another installment of Sense8 Symposium. I think we're on number 12 this week. Um, and we're going to go into episode 11. Just turn the wheel on the future changes. And today I'm joined by my panel. But as well as the symposium itself, we're going to be talking about some relevant news in the world that went on today, and our condolences go out to all those that suffered in Paris and all those in and around the area. And so we just wanted to offer our thoughts and our prayers are with them and whatnot through this difficult time that they're going through, and also especially because of the global nature of Sense8 and the way that it brought all of us together, we definitely feel that connection that we are no longer just us and we are a part of something greater. So um, I guess we can start that discussion and continuing on with what we were doing before we were on air. So if anyone wants to add to what they were saying at that time.
So just to add to what you said, Evan, our thoughts and prayers are definitely with the people in Paris, as well as people around the world who have had the most difficult 24, 48 hours of their lives. And um, yeah, words can't express how we are feeling right now, or how I'm, yeah, I'm just speechless. It's a very emotional time for all of us. Just let us know, like, if you want someone to talk to, we're there, and we'll always keep you guys in our thoughts. Yeah.
Would you like to add anything, Simon?
Well, as I was saying before, it's a really difficult time for all of us, especially people who are close by, and I would like to say that the people that we know personally in Paris, I just really hope that they're doing fine and they're safe and all their loved ones are safe. But also to everyone we don't know personally and everyone else, that I really just wish that things like this didn't happen and that everyone is going to be doing better now, and that these things might actually in the future be something that is in the past and not happening anymore. So yeah, that's basically all.
Mhm. All right. And just in honor of that, let's have a collective moment of silence for all the events that went on and all the lives that were lost and all the lives that are mourning right now. So let's go ahead and do that. All right. Now, on a somewhat more happier note, we're going to get into episode 11 this week. Just turn the wheel and the future changes. So this is actually where we see Riley is finally in the hospital, and when she's in there, and they're pumping her with all the drugs, and they're all like, "Oh, she has a high pain tolerance," and the best they could say is that kids these days use a ton of drugs. But um, what was your first feelings and thoughts when you're like, "Oh crap, BPO has her now," when
No,
she's like on the way?
Well, the thing was that as they were telling us that she wasn't just she had a little bit of time before BPO actually found her, but it was just a question of time. And at that point, I was still kind of really hopeful that they might not find her before the other sensates found her. That Will and the others might just get there in time before BPO finds her, which of course turned out quite differently. But it was the moment when the real drama of worrying about the character started before, because it was just like uncertain if all of them were going to make it through. So that looked like she might actually get captured, and well, she did, but she might actually end up in their hands and even worse off. So yeah.
I was mentally preparing for the showdown. This is because I'm like going, oh, fantastic. They had to pick out of all characters Riley, who a lot of fans no doubt had a connection with, and obviously sympathized as well. So yeah, mentally I was preparing for a massive showdown and to see how it all unfolded. And also I was wondering whether they were going to kill her off as well. So you never know. This is one of those shows that it could be full of surprises. So I thought to myself, what if at the end they kill her off? Did she survive? How is this going to end?
And also to kind of build on that point, but to kind of go off on another topic, which maybe we might see in season 2, is what does the actual impact have as far as if someone does die in the cluster? I wonder that myself still.
Yeah.
Well, from what the only thing we actually know is that is what Irso said a couple of episodes back, which she said that when when one of their cluster mates died, she thought she would never recover from it, and that it was the most intense pain she ever felt, or something like that. So that might actually kind of bring us to what it might be like if one of the cluster members of the cluster died. It's like, imagine if you were losing part of yourself. It's like an actual part of yourself dies at that moment. And how would that actually feel? Because none of us can ever actually experience that, and that might be like one of the most painful things ever, I would imagine.
You're right. That's why Naomi wakes up very from a sudden, like very shocked.
Yeah.
Because she was feeling something with Riley was happening.
Yeah.
And then while that's happening, Nomi has had all her illegal equipment confiscated, and then of course that brings in another appearance by the Bug. What do you guys think of his character in general? I love him.
I hope he makes a comeback for season 2.
I laughed when Naomi said, "The enemy doesn't knock."
And then one of my favorite phrases is when he drops all the equipment back and he's like, "Consider yourselves reloaded." I thought that was like that was like completely a Matrix reference. So I was like, yes.
Fist bump.
Yeah, I remember that I actually wrote the Bug page on the Wikipedia, so you can tell that I actually love the character really a lot. When he showed up, I was like, this is my guy. When he
every IT person needs one of those. Yes.
Yeah, when he shows up and just with his hat and that cool jacket.
And that's a personality, really.
All of those one-liners he just drops. It's brilliant.
Yeah. I think also when he was shocked that Nomi was,
Yeah.
you know, Michael.
Yeah.
Hey, buddy.
Of course it's you. I'm a fucking idiot.
Well, not hot version of you.
Hot version, yeah, that's right.
I would do you. Not in a degrading way. A totally compliment.
And then Amanita is just like rolling her eyes as hard as they could ever roll. It's like
Basically every time Buck shows up, Amanita is all just rolling her eyes all the time.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then on top of that, we have what's building up to be majorly significant events here in this episode. As far as we see where Capheus brings Kabaka's daughter, and he's like, well, keep her safe here because I have to settle a debt. And so, you know, he's going off in a mindset, to his mind, he's not coming back from it. You know, he's going into the belly of the beast, and hopefully something good will happen, or not, you know. So that's kind of where he's at. And then as that's kind of building up, we also finally have the confrontation in the jail between Junki and Sun.
Oh, that was epic.
That was pretty epic, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That shit deserves a lot more than a punch in the face.
It was very interesting to see how it happened, like how it unfolded in terms of Junki, you know, crocodile tears of like, oh, you know, Dad was so depressed, and he committed suicide, and and then all of a sudden his face changes. Like she he was very upset, and then after that she just goes, hold on a second. She picked up on it, and he realized she picked up on it, and I was like, oh yeah, bring it on now.
And as soon as that happened, you just saw that his face just changed like, completely, right? I was like, whoa. Yeah. And then he's like, no, it was shame that killed our father. It's just like, well, fuck you, asshole. You killed him. You killed him.
She just like flies across the desk.
Yeah.
But if you kind of think about it, Junki is the shame of the family, so actually shame killed him.
Whoa, yeah. Okay, that's getting in this philosophical area there. I like that, Simon.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. It was pretty epic when she starts throwing punches at him. I'm like going, yep, this is another showdown in itself. Yeah.
And then,
but
go ahead.
Oh no, yeah. What were we saying, Evan?
Oh, I was just gonna say that then we finally see, I wouldn't call it a confrontation necessarily, but it's that whole exchange finally between Kala and Rajan, when after she talks to her father and he's like, oh, you have a secret, but to build whatever you may have upon a secret is kind of a lie, and then so she kind of goes and confronts him about how the father had come to her to ask him to stop the marriage, etc., etc. And then, what did you guys think about that whole exchange?
To be honest, I started developing more trust issues with Rajan because he knew that his father disapproved, and he kept it a secret from her, and he, it shows a different side to him. I was like, oh, nice keyboard. Thank you for joining the symposium, Mr. Keyboard.
No, just type from now on.
It's all good. So it just because like if you trust someone, you would tell them everything, I would say. And his character from the start, everyone, and I like to say everyone, was always like, oh, there's a secret behind him, like surely. And when he revealed that his father knew and then he didn't tell her, I would really question that. I would really start questioning, what else is he hiding from me?
Yeah.
If I was Carla.
Not only that, as far as what I'm reading as well, it seems like anytime Kala or anyone brings up any kind of something that would derail the marriage, he always comes back with these nice little anecdotes about, oh, it's not that, it's only the beginning of our story, etc., etc. So it's like he's trying to purposely smooth things over, and I'm sitting there like, what are you trying to smooth things over for? What's your actual agenda here? You know?
Yeah, but that's kind of the weird part, because he actually doesn't really stand to gain anything from the marriage except for Kala.
Exactly.
So
that we know of.
Yeah, but
that we know of.
what
Right?
could he get from a family that owns a restaurant? You know, I mean, his father owns an enterprise, you know, a huge company.
I'll go for the food. I'm sorry. If I'm Rajan, I'm like, okay, I'm married to family with awesome food.
Okay, yeah, I understand that part, you know, but you know, okay, you've got me there, right? Damn it.
Food money. I'll go for food.
But I do understand what you're saying, because if you look at it as far as like the system goes, they're the ones on the higher end of things, supposedly, and Kala's being the one brought up with all this marriage. So it's like it does bring the case of, if technically she's of lower class than he is in terms of, not how that works, but like, what is his motivation then to be so gung-ho and headstrong about keeping this in the first place?
Yeah, definitely.
Is my ultimate question. And then, what do you? I mean, they didn't really get into it too much, but do you guys have any speculation as far as who is mining or who is benefiting from the diamonds from Mumbai?
Oh, yeah, good connection. Okay,
yeah. But
he definitely did do a lot, you know.
Yeah.
But as far as the source, I wonder who that might be, or who might have ties to it.
Well, a lot of people...
I reckon Rajan.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because they're working in a drug business, right? So that money could go towards the diamonds, because they didn't really say who purchased the diamonds, did they?
No.
But it was definitely from India, though, something like that. But I think I was more frustrated, just to backtrack a little bit, I was very frustrated with Kala this moment, because she's very indecisive. If I were in her position, I would take that situation as my golden ticket to bail on that marriage. I'm like going, here's your golden opportunity where this guy is basically hidden something from you. I would have thrown the biggest tantrum and go, I can't believe you hid this from me, and just call the marriage off, going, you know what? Now, I pray to the gods that, if your dad survives, we shouldn't get married out of respect for him, or, something like that.
Well, the thing is that she had so many opportunities and she never took one.
Exactly. Exactly.
She prayed to the gods to stop her marriage. Wolfgang stopped her marriage.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Then,
thank you. A naked guy stopping a marriage.
Then that's the perfect way to stop a marriage, isn't it? But then his father told her that he didn't want them to get married.
There's another one.
Then Rajan, after she fainted, when they were talking in the restaurant, actually said that if she fainted, that he would. Another man would think that she didn't want to marry him or something, and she could have just gone, yeah, I don't want to, because she had so many opportunities to just call it off, and she never took one for whatever reason that was,
But Simon,
I don't know.
Yeah, no, I actually gave it a bit of thought as well, because because in the Indian culture, right, calling off a wedding is actually a big deal, especially or someone of his status, Rajan's status. So if the wedding was called off, especially by the girl, then obviously it brings maybe some sort of shame to her family, because they're a powerful family. If the guy called out the wedding, on the other hand, then it's quite different, right? So obviously people will feel a bit of sympathy for the girl. Because if Carla called it off, then guys would be more reluctant to approach the family for a hand in marriage. So there's that sort of thing maybe that she was thinking that wasn't shown so much in the show itself, but people of the culture may be thinking, as in myself, going this, maybe that's why there's a hesitation there. But firstly, I felt frustration because she was so indecisive. But then at the same time, I thought to myself, being in her shoes, I would probably stick it out and just, like I said, friends with benefits on the side. Until then, so no one needs to know.
I don't know.
Next thing you know, you'll walk into your house and Wolfie will just be like tapping on.
Hello. Yeah. So it's definitely a bit sad, but at the same time, like the situation when the father was stabbed in the temple, Rajan can easily manipulate the situation and say that, you know what, that's more reason that why we should get married, because my father approached you saying that we should not get married, and he got stabbed. So
the obstacle to our marriage has been removed.
Exactly. So we should consider that as a sign going, no, that is not the right path. You know what I mean? The gods presented to us going, no, it's wrong, and hence he got hurt by it. So we should get married. Who's to say Rajan can't flip that around, right? He's done a good job so far.
I feel that it's an obligation for Rajan to do it. I don't know. I feel it. It's like it's not honest. I don't feel it honest. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, it seems that like an obligation for both of them, actually, in terms of what you said about the culture and whatnot. So, so that must.
It's really a strange relationship. Really strange.
Yeah, well, I heard some rumors about Rajan maybe
becoming a villain, right?
Yeah, and I think that a broken heart from Kala might actually be a good cause for him to become the villain that he actually might already be. We don't know enough about him. So
he'll be Raging Rajan.
I'm betting $10 on Wolfgang to take down Rajan.
Oh, he could do that easily.
I wonder what he bets on it.
Yeah, what's going to happen? Wolfgang is going to come in with a gun and a fist, and Rajan's going to start dancing.
He's gonna...
Like, I'm sorry. His dancing might be brilliant, but he's not going to do anything. I mean...
He can do some serious damage, sorry. Okay, I'm $2 advantage.
I'm going to...
Dancing might be useful against Leto, but not Wolfgang.
He's going to try to dance him to death.
Wait a minute! Wait a minute!
There you go. Martin is all set. Oh man.
God, yeah.
Love you guys.
I think he must have it small. That's a reason.
And okay, and moving on to what is arguably like the biggest action sequences that we see, and actually one of the biggest ones of the show overall, is when Capheus goes to the superpower headquarters, and they're like, "Where's the girl?" And then he's like, "No, it's not here. Your quarrel is with me. It's not with this little girl or anyone else." And then that whole situation where they walk in and they see Kabaka all bloodied and bruised and all that. What did you guys think was going to happen there?
Oh, Sun has to approach her, as the guy's dead.
Well, yeah, definitely that.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a pretty well, brutal scene in a way, like arms being chopped off and everything,
Yeah.
but at the same time, it was awesome. Like, yeah.
Call me a bitch one more time.
Yeah. Oh, actually, that's my favorite part was when Sun was in jail and so was Cassius, and they're punching the wall,
Yeah.
and their knuckles were starting to get quite bloody, and
It was very
it's just
real.
like, yeah, it was, yeah, that scene was just fantastic for me because it was just like, oh yeah, something big is gonna go down now, and it preps you up for it. And also she says something. Oh, I forgot what she said. Martin, come on,
Oh
you're the
no.
quote guy.
What said to who?
She says, doesn't she say something about to Cassius when they're both punching the wall?
Call me bitch one more time, I think.
Yeah,
That's
that and maybe something else.
the one
Yeah,
that
but I
Evan
think
said.
that was the permanent. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, that scene was just very well filmed. Everything was really good about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, in this episode they went through the characters around them, all around them. That's something I liked.
Yeah.
They showed very well that scene.
And then I do like at the end how, you see that the Cassius and Lawanda Jawar, the superpower boss, they've had this like back and forth, almost like a chess match thing going on, trying to one up each other. And then it gets to that point where it's just the Van Damme and the superpower guy, like kind of on a standoff, almost like an old Western film. And then both of them are just like, you know what, this has to end here, and then they just like full throttle it. I thought that was a really powerful scene because it's like it was just like no, one of them is not going to come out or whatever, but let's just go for it and end this thing.
Yeah. Yeah. So after that scene ends, Cassius escapes with Kabaka, and then he appears to Will and Carla, and he goes, well, I'm gonna die, like, guys, I need help. So does he choose which sensei to go to, or does that happen? Because it just made me question for a few seconds, like, he could have gone to Wolfgang.
Yeah.
Right? He's got a bazooka, for the love of gosh, like,
Yeah.
but why Will? Why Carla? Was it, the stress of the situation has led him to those two, or did he have a choice? What did you guys think about that? Like, why did he go to Will and Carla?
As far as I would say, even though technically Wolfgang has the superior fighting skills, he connected with Will that first time when he got first attacked, when he picked up the gun, So I mean, they had already established that connection, as well as he had that moment with Kahlo where they were watching the Van Damme movie, and up to that point I just didn't see that he and Wolfgang had established any sort of real connection yet. So
yeah, that's what I was thinking. Why didn't the connection happen? You know what I mean? Since they didn't have that connection, why didn't that new connection start? Yeah.
But I don't know. It could be something as simple as time differences too. I don't know how that all works out, but as far as my first impression is that they had not yet established any kind of real connection yet.
Yeah, it was just a few seconds thought because when I think was this the episode when Carla goes to the temple as well?
It is, yeah.
Yes.
Will approaches.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So I saw that part too, and that made me question it further as well. And also, didn't Carla and Will meet before that?
Did they?
A lot of questions.
No.
Yeah.
No, I don't.
Sure?
I don't remember that they did.
So Will and Carla never met each other before that.
I could be wrong, but I'd want to say that was the first time. And welcome, Jordan.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
Hey, Jordan.
Sorry, it was late. I had to perform an exorcism on my router. Yeah, so I finally got in. Finally.
We are talking about. What are we talking about again, Evan? Sorry.
We are talking about. What are we talking about? Oh, about Kala and Will, the way he came to her during when she met up back at the temple, and like whether or not, and before that we were talking about when Capheus was about to get when Capheus was about to get killed, he showed up to Will and Kala and said, I think I'm about to die. And our question was, if he was about to die, how come he didn't manifest himself to like Wolfgang or somebody who can really kill some people and kick some ass, or even Sun for that matter? But
well, I think like maybe with Sun, like she came just at the time during that fight in the warehouse. As with Wolfgang, well, we really didn't see any interaction between the two of them before them getting to know each other, so maybe it was that.
That was my guess.
Yeah, and so like when he reached, I don't think we really saw it, and Kala was really the only one we've seen him Kala and Riley were the only two we really saw him interact with. So I think he went to Kala first, and Will was there, and that's how it came into that.
Yeah. And Will used his skills as a policeman to help him out anyway, which is perfect.
Exactly.
Kala, what's she gonna do? Like,
you can't build bombs on this bus.
Yeah. Oh, that was good. Yeah. Later on, when that happened, that was pretty.
Later
impressive.
on, yeah. And then it's another kind of a speculative thing, but after Capheus survives with the bullet hold Van Damme, which actually makes it look that much more badass, I might say.
Yeah.
But there's this kind of understanding between he and Kabaka as like, well, you saved my daughter's life, blah blah blah. And so I kind of wonder, like, where do you think that relationship might explore to in the next seasons?
Well, if they do go with it in some way next season, I don't think Capheus will trust him really, or any more than he has in the past, because of the guy's still gonna do the stuff he's gonna do. I mean, that I feel isn't going to change. But I think a bond exists now because of family. What Kabaka does for his daughter, and in a way Capheus understands it because he was thinking about his mother's life in that instance. Like, was he going to sacrifice the guy's daughter for his mother? And it's like, what would you do for family? In terms of the bond of family, can you sacrifice one bond, your own bond, for someone else's, if that makes any sense?
Yeah, it can. I say it can go two different ways. As in, Capheus can go to Kabaka and go, "No, we're officially even. I don't work for you, and you don't. You don't expect anything from me either." Or Capheus could have an upper hand. Like, no, he's got a taste of the bad guy lifestyle. What's stopping him from going down the pathway in the future if required? So, yeah.
And I mean,
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I just don't see that for Capheus, just because he seems, and again, this is
he's
just
a nice guy. I know.
Yeah, it's just my
Sunshine Bay. I know.
It's my observation, but I mean, don't get me wrong. People can go from good to bad. I mean, you've seen that happen on shows and movies from time and time again. But Capheus, and again, this is just my point of view, he seems a person who, well, he may question things to his core. He's true to himself, and true to who he is, and I don't see that changing anytime soon.
What if his mom dies, Jordan?
Well, see,
What if his mom dies
the thing
in a
I would
situation
say
like this?
The thing I would say to that, if he were to get anything from Kabaka, he'd be like, okay, hook my mom up with the meds, and we can call it even.
Yeah. So he's got an upper hand that way. But if something happens to his mom, what's stopping him from it? Well, it depends on the scenario as well. Like if his mom dies in a way that is linked to maybe Kabaka, even though Kabaka didn't do anything, but he's been framed for it, and Cafius had a taste of the bad boy life, you know, he goes, I have nothing to live for. My mom just died. You know,
well,
we would hate for him to go down to the dark side, obviously, because he's like, you know, the sunshine bear of Care Bears. But I mean, you know, we need a good balance of the good and the bad guys. But this show can just be full of surprises, you know, the unpredictable.
Well, yeah, I can see that because like he does have that bond with his mother, and honestly, like you said, Vinny, if something were to happen to her in a violent way, like if she were to be killed or something he did, then yeah, all bets would be off because he would definitely be the type to go and seek vengeance for the exact reason said. He really doesn't have anything to live for anymore. But aside from that scenario, like I said, he seems someone who I see him getting tougher and stronger when it comes to standing up to people when season 2 comes. But aside from that, I don't see him really going dark or like become like Wolfgang in terms of personality.
It's actually interesting that you guys mentioned that, because in the first interview I did with Amel now several months ago, he actually said that. He said, what happens when Cafius's mother dies? Will he embrace the dark as because he does have it in him, but it's not, you know, it's suppressed because he's such an optimistic character and, you know, all that kind of stuff. But because I had asked him too about like what would you think would happen if Cafius started interacting more with Wolfgang? Would Cafius make him a little bit more optimistic? Would Wolfgang make him a little bit more dark? And he said, you know, the one thing that is keeping Cafius as he is his mother, and so what would happen once that element is removed from his life? What kind of a Cafius would we see? And that's definitely a big question that maybe they'll address in the upcoming episodes.
Yeah, no, I definitely prefer the other, you know, other pathway, which is, you know, him and Kabaka calling it even, and then Kabaka just continues helping Cafius with medication. I would prefer that. But this is Sense8 for the love of God.
It's not going to be so nicely smooth.
It's not going to be. Yeah, it's not going to be so
conflict.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just flip it on its head and you think, okay, well, it can go pear-shaped this way, you know. So, and what if, you know, Carla's stuck between Cafius and Wolfgang? God knows.
I don't think that is not going to be that type. I mean in a triangle sense, not in a physical sense.
That's a sandwich right there.
Why is it almost every time make on here people taking a bad direction?
Sense8 sandwich.
Hey, he always called her pretty. Remember when he first met Carla, he just goes, "You're so beautiful." I'm like, uh-oh. No.
Anyway.
Yes, anyway. Moving on. There's that powerful scene in the car where Wolfgang is driving up to his uncle's house, where he basically knows in his mind, like, he's gonna die. There's no way he's coming out of it. And then, there you go. Then Kala appears next to him, and she says that quote, and that is also the same title of the episode. That is, "Just turn the wheel and the future changes."
Yeah, because basically she doesn't want him to go through with it. I mean, because number one, like you said, he goes in, he's most likely a dead man. But too, just in terms of the actions themselves, what we see him do, like, even though we know he's not exactly all rainbows and light, like some may describe Capheus, but if he does what he does, which we see him do, it still is going to change him.
Yeah.
And not necessarily in the best of ways.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like Wheel of Fortune, you know. Wolfgang's going to spin, and it's going to end up in bankrupt potentially. So, i.e., he dies, you know. So, yeah, it's definitely, but it was one of the episodes that was very emotional because you know, you can't help but feel it's like kind of like Romeo and Juliet in a way, you know.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, and then finally everyone cheered for the love of God, no doubt. Yeah, definitely emotional episode.
Oh yeah, especially that's the scene in particular, not just between him and Kala, but what happens at the very end of it with him and his uncle, as well.
Yeah. Well, that's actually that's the next episode, I think. But yeah.
Wait,
yeah, it is because they.
Oh
no,
yeah,
it's the next episode. Was it because he drives in through the gates and that's it?
Yeah. That's it.
Oh yeah, now I'm jumping ahead. I apologize.
That's all right. Just giving everyone else a preview.
But he says something along the lines of like he is doing it for her, you know. So he says, "I'm doing this so that no one that I love."
Oh
no.
You need to jump in with, but basically, I'm doing this so no one that I love, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he says as long as that man is alive, no one I love is safe.
Yep. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he was saying it more for Felix than Kala, but it's still applies.
Yeah.
Are we allowed to drink, Jordan?
That type of love, not that.
Oh no!
A simple, innocent comment. And
subliminal messages.
Usually Vinny takes it down.
No, I was
They're trying to say that they are brothers.
Brotherly love.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Thank you, Martin. Thank you.
No. Oh my God, sure, brothers. Yes, we would think. Jordan was totally thinking about that.
Totally.
This is not fruitful. This is not fruitful.
Yeah. You know, I was thinking he was fighting for Carla too, and then you're like, oh no, for Felix. I'm like, okay, Jordan, what are you implying? That's a brotherly love.
Oh no, he's going away now.
He's probably dying from laughing.
I was laughing.
He was laughing.
But all right.
I already had snacks.
This really happened.
Creepy, Jordan.
Jordan
is not with us anymore.
Wait, okay, what did I miss? What did I miss?
Oh!
All we heard is you just said
you didn't want snack?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez, I knew I should be using the microphone. Evan.
All right, moving on. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Okay. After that whole thing where Wolfgang goes in, and then Kala, you can see her like really crying at her workplace and all that.
Right.
And then
Son.
Yeah. By the way, do you have that quote, Martin?
Yes, of course.
All right, of course. Let's do it.
Let's hear it from the quote guy.
I love it. This is what life is: fear, rage, desire, love. To stop feeling emotions, to stop wanting to feel them, is to feel them. Son.
Yeah.
It's really.
That was quite a powerful line there, you know.
Mm.
And then, actually, to continue on with that same quote, it says, I take everything. Yeah, oh, you have that too? Go for it.
Ah, okay. I take everything I am feeling, everything that matters to me. I push all of it into my fist, and I fight for it.
Yeah. Bravo.
Yay!
That's actually
Yeah.
one of my like top 5 favorite quotes from
Yeah.
the entire show. So that was
yeah,
really
mine too. And just like the overall show, as Lads is saying as well, just it has so many great lines in it, and not just like when it's being exchanges between one or more of the people, like with Colin and Wolfgang, but in this episode, but just overall, just like lines like that from Sun is like great.
Yeah, all characters all over the show. It's like they say things that they are wow, really good.
Yeah, full credit to the writers of the show. I mean, like seriously, like we can take these long quotes and actually,
apply it.
you know, apply it exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We can use it in our lives, everyday lives.
For sure.
All right. Any final thoughts?
So next week is the last one, guys.
Yeah.
Oh no!
Oh my God.
Oh no.
What a long, strange journey it's been. Or
Well,
short,
definitely.
short and strange journey, but
And hopefully it will become quite long with future seasons, series, and more symposiums. You know.
We'll definitely want to continue this, and also like we haven't outlined like any further ideas that we want to do, but like if there's anything that news that comes out that's related, or any news like pertaining to the world, like things that went on today, we could definitely all come back and have a little discussion about it as well. You know, so it's not definitely not limited to just like the episodes themselves. So if anything else comes up, we can definitely continue that.
Yeah, definitely. You know, as long as the rumor mill and some maybe information starts coming in from the next season, you know, we should have enough to talk about.
yeah, like the only
I think.
I'm sorry.
Go
Like
ahead.
the only thing I heard so far was like they had the first episode for second season already written, and because I think it was Daniela and Hernando, they were at some sort of event together, and they mentioned they already seen the script for it. But other than that, like the other things I read, like Rahan, I can't think of his name at the moment. The one Colin was supposed to marry. I can't think of his name. Rajan, yes, I'm an idiot. He was going to become a bad guy second season.
That's what I heard that too.
Yeah, unless I hear something like straight from, let's say, J. Michael Straczynski or one of the actors, I'm just gonna take it all at least what I've seen so far as rumor. And I think more definite things will probably come at the beginning of next year, like around February, March at the earliest. But
when it gets closer to the actual release dates and all that.
Yeah, but that's just conjecture on my part.
Yeah. I think I think Jordan.
Here we go again.
Oh dear.
If you remember, there was someone on Facebook interesting things they wanted to put. No, I'm not going to say anything bad. No, I know. If anyone that's watching this episode symposium, feel free to even post some interesting topics you want us to discuss as well, and we'll be happy to cover that. So just throwing it out to all our viewers and just anyone.
Because
like in the comment section or in the Facebook group.
There's Facebook, Twitter, guys.
Because as bright minds as we are, we tend to miss some things too. So
as hard as it might be to believe, we are not perfect.
Well, speak for yourself.
No. I'm sorry, Jonathan. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Nothing more really.
But all right, guys, thanks to another successful symposium, and I'll see you all next week. And for anyone who's watching this now or has missed it, it's going to be live on the YouTube channel shortly. And remember that you are no longer just you. Bye everybody.
Bye.
Till next time.
Everyone.
Till next time. Bye.
Pray for Paris.
Everyone out there who's been through crap, you're not alone out there. Just letting you know.
Oh. Oh, oh my god. Esperando los próximos de una en la videollamada.